A very good evening to you all, and welcome to the show, Don Oscar. It's been such a long time, man. We haven't
Mm.
done this. I've been so busy, man. Like I don't even have time for myself. What's going
You are a father of the nation. You are a dad.
on?
You are a dad. You are a dad, and
I know. It's
family matters, job and family, and I understand
yeah.
sometimes. So first of all, let me greet our viewers. Good evening, everyone. Here in Italy, about 20. This is 2024, 2030 almost. We have now the same time with Zambia, my friend.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm in
Yeah, we got
now.
the same time in Zambia, and we are going towards this summer. So long days and short nights.
What I
Well,
can tell you is that it's very warm outside. Actually, it's
all right.
what's the point of going to Zambia when it's warm like this? You know.
When it's warm, or if you, I don't trust you because when you say it's warm, we are talking
No,
about
no,
two
no,
degrees.
no, it's about
You are,
12
to,
actually.
you are talking about 2 degrees.
No, 12. Like all the snow has melted, and yeah, I can't complain, man.
Oh, okay, no, 12 degrees for you guys. I think it's good. It's good weather. We have here we have about 16 degrees.
See,
Uh,
we'll catch up with you shortly. It even gets hotter than Italy here, so that's
right. Yeah, I think it can be. It can be. Yeah, you're right. So it has been quite an interesting period. We had feasts here, feasts there, and in Zambia, well, many things happen. Surprises, interesting topics, scandals.
Did you have a chance to listen to Nawaki's interview? Though I felt that's what we needed from the opposition. You know, I think she spoke well though.
Yeah, I listened to Nawaki's debate, though then I understood that the day after the police were looking for her. I don't know what happened.
Come on.
For sure. Then I heard that the police
What?
were,
For real?
I don't know, I don't know.
No,
And
no.
yeah, a day after,
Do
I
you know?
understood that she was summoned to go and for questions.
Do you know what I've come to learn though?
Tell me.
If as a leader or as a boss or a manager you mask a lot of inefficiencies, those problems will just explode in your face and you won't deal with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, we cannot say. You know what, Perry. What I've understood about the new Dawn government is the president is doing his best to give this authority to this gentleman, the police, the journalism, and freedom, the so-called freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. He is mentioning at least. What I can say is that he is mentioning it with his mouth. He will tell the Zambian people, we want you people to be very free, to feel free, to do the right thing, to debate, to campaign, to associate without pressure, without persecution. At least this is coming from his mouth. Now, from the pronouncement that the president is making to the actualization of his pronouncements, there is a breakdown. I'm saying this not because that's what I've seen, but that's what also the president himself, Hakainde Hichilema, has acknowledged. If you remember, that was last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in Livingstone. He had a meeting in Livingstone, and he was telling his friends, he was saying, at the upper governance, things we are doing things very well, but I think there is a breakdown because down there, what we are discussing and suggesting up here is not reaching the ground level. So, what is wrong? So, the president himself, I think he acknowledged that there was a breakdown in the communication from the cab. I don't know, from the president office, from State House, probably to go to the councillors, to go to the people who are at the ground level. So now, if the president also acknowledged this, I think, um, breakdown in communication, we are now seeing the consequences. Now, what has happened, my dear, just like you have said, the discussion of Nawakwi, president of FDT, I don't know the name of FDT
Yeah,
or.
no, but see, the points that she highlighted, those are the points that I was expecting to hear from the opposition political parties, and I think
Yes. Many people, they appreciated that. They said, but what, you guys, this is what you should have been doing. The serious checks and balances is what she did last time.
yeah,
Actually, she went on, not only she listened to the plight of the people, the complaints of the Zambian people when they are crying. People are crying.
mhm,
I come from Copperbelt, Mr. Perry, so I wouldn't say that there are no evidence. There's evidence in Ndola, in Kitu, in Kalulushi, in
mhm,
Chingola, in
yeah,
Mufulira. There have been cries of the Zambian people. Now, this Edith Nawakwi said the people are crying. The people are telling the government, learn to listen. If you don't listen to the cry, to the plight of the people, you might find yourself in Mwamonen. She used those words.
yeah,
Tomorrow, yeah. But then listen to the people. Don't shun the cry of the people. And myself, in one of these days, I contributed by quoting a Latin word. A Latin word.
yes,
Vox Dei, Vox Populi. Okay? The voice, Vox Populi, it's the opposite. Vox Populi, Vox Dei. So the voice, the word of the people, the cry of the people is a cry that is coming from God. God confirms when people are crying, that is a word of God for any leader, my dear friend. So the Zambian people have been crying. Then the mistake they can make, the mistake some of the leaders in UPND have already made is that one of telling the people, no, you are not saying the truth. That's a mistake. You listen to the people. Send some people to go and find out whether the narrative is concrete or is as the people are crying. It's different because these people, they have the instrument of power, the machine. The machinery is everywhere. It's in the four corners of Zambia. So it's easy for a government to say, are these people just telling lies or they are telling the truth? Now, the people, what they said, which is now coming out to be the truth. Please, Ubunga wa Shota. Please don't sell the Mealie meal. Please, now these things have come out.
Don Oscar. For me, it's like a catch-22, right? We are coming from an area of a place when we had a bumper harvest, right? And
Yes.
people had nowhere to take their maize, you know.
Yeah.
And then this guy organizes market for the maize to be sold, you know. So for me, what I see, it's the inefficiency in communication between FRA and the government, because the government is supposed to have a pass talk, you know, through FRA. You know, they should supposed to, okay, for us to feed the nation for 12 months, these are the number of bags that we need.
Yeah.
One. So people went on the people just got so excited and then started selling those the maize up until the stock was depleted.
If you would like myself to give my analysis of what happened,
Yeah.
what I noticed, if you can allow me to give that analysis. How I hope some people maybe are going to have a possibility to listen to our conversation. It's a free conversation, very friendly conversation. If somebody is there, please, we appreciate your comments. If you can put in some of the comments, please, we really appreciate your comments. And You have probably, Mr. Perry, you have some of those names. You can read some of those names. You can greet our viewers. We can greet our supporters. We can greet the Zambians who are participating, who are listening to us.
Yeah,
So,
I'll put them on the screen as they come through. So
right.
for me though, my concern was you're looking at a place where the president went and started saying, look, we have to, we don't have to call this smuggling. These are our brothers. We have to, you know, broaden the market, sell, export finished product, you know. And my disappointment was, why were they selling maize instead of selling finished products, right? Because he said, oh, instead of selling maize, we're going to manufacture feed out of it. You know, we were going to sell milling as a finished product, right? But they were not doing so. They're just exporting maize. You see, and uh, my disappointment was with the Minister of Agriculture. Instead of him saying, okay, we are going to maybe stop this, he says, no, we'll continue this. But how are you going to conserve the stock that's already there? Because so
Yeah.
far, there's no shortage, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just didn't understand the and right now what I'm seeing is there's clearly a lack of communication between government departments, right? And I don't know who's supposed to do what. That's where the problem is.
Yeah, that's why in my preamble I mentioned this, Mr. Perry, the analysis that the president made in Livingstone when he said there is a breakdown somewhere, somehow. There is a breakdown because we are doing the right thing here.
Mhm.
We organize something very, very correct and positive,
Yeah,
and then the implementation of our program is not working. So, where is the problem? Where is the mistake? What
yeah,
is wrong? And so now, what you are saying, I think it's the same thing. You say that maybe there is no coordination. There's no coordination between maybe State House or between the cabinet ministers and maybe PSs and all these people. I think it's the same thing. We are talking the same language, maybe using different ideas and phrases, but I think the, the sense is the same. So, well, you know, I can explain where I thought the problem came in.
hmm,
The idea of the president saying, let's open the market for
yeah,
export was genius. It's good. To export, it's something good. Actually, countries, we are talking about countries like, I know in Zambia, we mention most often, we mention countries like, or towns like Dubai. One of the towns that Zambians have as admiration is Dubai. Everyone wants to go to Dubai.
yes,
Everyone wants to go to, I don't know, China and all these places. Not many Zambians, they mention European countries, but I have my own experience, which might be very different. But let's talk about the majority of the Zambians. They would envy what has happened in Dubai, what has happened in Japan, what has happened in Korea, what has happened in China. Uh, and then, well, what has happened is production. We are buying many things from China. China makes money. We are buying parts, some of the. Do you remember the Higer buses, Mr. Perry?
yes.
Do you remember
I
the
know them.
Higer buses,
I still remember them. Yeah.
which were breaking down? The Higer buses were brought in by the PF, by the Patriotic Front. When they brought them, after 2 weeks, they were breaking down. Those Higer buses came from China. Yes, we are being realistic. I just like to be realistic. I don't want to sugarcoat events. I would like maybe to conversate with the Zambians by talking about the truth and where are the mistakes. We make mistakes. So now, if China is making money and is doing production, they have sold us higher buses, they have sold us clothes, they sell us shoes, they sell us electric, everything. Sofas, tables,
But don't
machinery.
look, for me, the problem is
Now, allow me to finish. Now, I'm saying if these people they are exporting to Zambia all these multiple goods, they make money. So the idea that the president said, let's open the market and let's go and export our products. The idea is wonderful. But where is the mistake? The mistake, according to me, comes in when you empty the security, the food security, just as our friends in the former regime, what did they do? They emptied Zambia, Bank of Zambia. You get the point. We defaulted. I mean this when I say because Zambia defaulted, it means there's no money. We did not have money. We defaulted. Yeah? Any person can conversate with me, can quarrel with me to say, no, we left money. Yeah, but the question is, Zambia was the first country in Africa to default. So there was no money. How do you rule a country without emergency coins funds in the Zambia Bank of Zambia? So our friends were PF, they made that mistake by getting from. We knew now that they were printing, they were the money printing and this and this. All this information, I think, is not a secret anymore. All the Zambians they know. They printed a lot of money at the Bank of Zambia, and there we were now. We were just going down and down and down, and hence we ended up defaulting. So that was a mistake. You cannot empty the Bank of Zambia to do whatever transaction or whatever you can call it. Just the same way, UPND now, I think they made a mistake. What is this mistake? Is to export more than what was necessary. Everyone in any angle of the world.
Don Oscar, how do you
Yeah.
know that you're exporting more than necessary? So that's why I'm saying, for me, I blame the FRA.
It was very simple. The people at Food Reserve, the people at the Zambia National Services, those people are not new. They did not go and work there for the last 1 year. They have been working there, Mr. Perry, for years. So they know how much mealie meal is supposed to be in stock for the nation to be in safe, for reserve to be enough. Those people they know, they are not new. The Newton government is new, but the people at Zambia National Service, the people at FRA, Food Reserve Agency, these people are not new, my brother. So they know. If we are talking about in stock, I heard something like 5,000, I don't know, maybe 5,000 or more than that in stock. Those people work at FRA, they know how much we need to be at safe hand. Now, the Zambian people, gentlemen, Mr. Perry, they started saying, and I quote, the time when our madam, the government spokesperson, Madam Minister of Information, when they started exporting with those trucks, what I'm saying is not an accusation, but I'm just talking something which is historic. I remember very well. One journalist took the clip and they said, "Gentlemen, 4 trucks, you are going to sell all these mealie meal. What is going to remain in our reserves for us?" And I remember very well, Madam, the Shushika Sanda answered, "No, we have enough in stock." Second, we came now to the Minister of Agriculture, Mutolo. Minister of Agriculture went even in Parliament. I remember the question time when they asked, "Mr. Minister, why do you continue selling our maize? Please." And on the opposition, they asked her, "Mr. Minister, we left in the reserve, we left a lot of mealie meal, but why are you selling? Please stop selling mealie meal. Stop selling maize grain." And the Minister Mutolo or is on record in Parliament. He answered to the opposition leaders. He said, the policy of the government is not to stop exportation. We want to create an environment where the Zambians can make money because the Congo business is open. Kenya business is open. So let the people make
Why are they
money.
calling it smuggling then?
That's the problem. That is the problem. That's the problem. Here comes, this is the problem now. Who is, I posted on the UPND page, I posted this comment. I said, I think it is not fair to arrest those ordinary people. Somebody who is taking 10 bags to go and sell in Congo. It's not fair to arrest them when it is from the president's office when they say we are opening market. This is on record. If the minister, now listen, if Minister Mutolo is not going to be arrested, they should not arrest an ordinary Zambian. Why do I say this? Why do I say this? This is very uncomfortable. It might be uncomfortable for the UPND. And my friend, my brother, I have supported the UPND, but we have not supported these mistakes. These mistakes are very dangerous for the UPND.
Again, when you look at this, though, I think the problem starts with the distribution of farming inputs, right? Everything was late, and then
well, that is another thing, because the consequences of the distribution which was late, we are going to feel it next year. You get the point? What we are experiencing now, it's not what is going to be the consequence in the late distribution of farming inputs. That is another question. And probably we might pay a very high price. The Zambian people are saying the rain pattern has been miserable. We have had, Mr. Perry, we have had floods in Southern Province. We have had floods in Eastern Province. Our friends very close to Malawi, which we remember what was the disaster which happened in Malawi with the Cyclone Freddy, I think he was called Cyclone Freddy. So in the Eastern Province, we have had some flood. And some crops, that means that some of the crops have been damaged. In Southern Province, we saw videos where people were crying. They planted, the maize were almost ready, and here came the wind and much rainfall, and it just destroyed everything. So now the consequences of the late farming of this year, we are going to feel it maybe at the end of this year, maybe the beginning of next year. What we are now feeling, Mr. Perry, is the consequences of, I would call it, allow me to call it negligence. There has been some negligence there from the Minister of Minister Mutolo, Minister of Agriculture.
Well, the other issue that really kind of like discouraged me was Zambia giving land to Kenya to grow maize, and I went like, why didn't they offer that contract to maybe ZNS? Employ more youths to work in the fields and then plant more maize and export maize rather than giving them land to. I don't know what's happening with the UPND. Anyways, you are UPND, I'm MMD, but maybe you can.
Yeah, we are normal. We are human beings, my dear. We are human beings. I myself, who is passionate. I'm passionate about politics, passionate. But I'm not a politician, of course, but I'm passionate, very much passionate about politics. And I would like to contribute. What brings me on public platform is to contribute what I've learned in Europe. That's it. I've learned a lot of things here in Europe, and so I am eager to contribute to my fellow Zambians.
Let me just stop you. There's a comment from Kasamba Mayoka. Let me just put it on the screen, right? And uh, Kasamba says the main problem is people are selling in bulk, and it's about the. It's not about the minister or UPND. People are so excited, for lack of a better word to use, to an extent that they are forgetting that there is tomorrow, thinking they are punishing UPND, and yet no, no. It's not about the people. It's about the FRA. Because we have a conduit where that maize falls through, right? And for me, the best approach would have been for all the exports to be done by FRA.
Well, Mr. Kasamba, my brother, I think here we have to reason with our government. How it would have been better. I would have loved myself if at all we had these members in the ruling party to come on shows like this one, to have a debate, to have a dialogue. I think it might be healthy. It's very healthy. So, Mr. Kasamba, I think what I can say is this. We have to, when there is a problem, we have to go to the genesis of the problem. Where does the problem begin? Muchibemba, Mr. Kasamba walanda ati isabye okuwola litampira ku mutwe. Tefyo, isabinga lyakola litampira ku mutwe. So now we have to go and find out the genesis. Where is the beginning of this crisis?
And that's what Mutoka is saying. Mutoka is saying, now that we are here, what are the short-term solutions? How do we avoid a similar occurrence in the future?
So yeah, exactly. Mutoka is making a very good question.
Yes.
To find a solution. Maybe we are going to come to that to answer to Mutoka's request. We are going to give. Actually, also from me myself, I would like to give also my contribution to the government, how they can solve this. Now, first of all,
let me ask you that question then.
Well, first of all, what I'm saying, first of all, is let's go and find out the genesis of this crisis. The genesis is not from the Zambian people. Listen to me carefully, brothers and sisters. The genesis of this crisis came from the government official. When I have mentioned here two ministers in question, because they are on record, Minister Chushikasanda, government spokesperson, and Minister Mutolo, the Minister of Agriculture. They are on record when they started selling. They were seen when the trucks were being packed of maize meal. Trucks. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me who is very close. Almost 1,500 bags were going in 4 trucks, and they were going to Congo and Kenya. Now, gentlemen, here, this is the genesis of the problem, the crisis. Why do I say here? This is where the genesis comes. Because the Zambian people who are going to Kasumbalesa, they are taking 50 bags. Do you understand? Am I clear on that? They are taking 10 bags. I saw a minibus there packing something like 20 bags. And I saw some other people, they will use charcoal trucks and they put mealie meal there to go and sell 5 bags in Congo, to go and sell 10 bags. Now, 10 bags is nothing in comparison with 4 trucks of maize, which was authorized by government. And here there is also a distinction in the language. When the government, I don't know whether it's correct to say the government or it is correct to say the minister of I don't know what, well, maybe. Is it correct to say the government or to say
the genesis, Don Oscar? What's the genesis of this problem?
The genesis is the government allowed. They called it export. They did not call it smuggling. When it began, they said, "Let us go." And Zambians, if there are some friends from UPND here, you can correct me. When the president said, "Zambians, take advantage. There is market in Congo." By that time, it was called a mealie meal exportation. Let's go and export the mealie meal. Let's go and take advantage of the Congo business.
So
Now,
in
the
other words,
same action, the
yes.
same action now, it is called smuggling. Tell me what has changed. Why calling it smuggling when before you said let's go and export?
So are you saying that the maize exportation was just an afterthought? It wasn't properly planned, and there's no
It
policy that
wasn't
was being
properly planned because that's where the mistake is. The minister, whether you are exporting maize, you should have counted. I give you just a simple question. If I had in stock 10 bags, and I say for me to reach the end of the year, I need 5 bags. How many bags should I export? Only 5. When I finish 5, I stop the exportation. This was not done. Because now look at this. Listen, the crisis, how the crisis have gone now. When I don't know whether it's the cabinet, whether it's the government, or whether it's the minister himself, Mr. Mutolo, when they realize that, my goodness, I don't think we are going to have enough in stock. What have the government, the UPND government, done? They have said we are going to allow the importation of mealie. Have you heard about that story?
No,
The
no,
government now,
I haven't
you
heard.
haven't heard about?
No.
Now I'm telling you, this is very interesting. The government now they have given some licenses to businessmen. I don't know who these businessmen are, but the government, through the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mutolo, has given licenses for some of the businessmen in Zambia to go and import meal from South Africa. Have you heard about this story? Now, here is the confusion.
Okay, can you put it in simple terms, right? What do you call this situation?
This is total confusion. Even my logic I cannot understand. Mr. Perry, if we have enough meal in stock, why should we go and import from South Africa? Then here came a justification. Someone was talking.
I will tell you the genesis of this.
What do you think? What do you think?
In my opinion, the genesis of this was to try to arrest the dollar, right? The more we sell to DRC in US dollars, and then our currency is gonna, appreciate. But it wasn't thought through.
Yeah, but I mean the genesis is okay. It's okay.
Look. We are coming from
The idea. Listen, the idea of selling and getting dollar, it's not bad. It's not bad. What is out of it? You are an economist. Are you an economist or you are an accountant?
Don't Oscar.
You are an economist or you are an accountant?
I'm not an accountant, but I'm in accounting.
Okay, you are not an accountant, but you are in account. If you are in accounting, Mr. Perry, if you are in accounting, when you're doing business, you have to put something for your surety.
Don't Oscar. We have already established that. The mistake was that the FRA is supposed to establish a pass stock.
Yes.
And those exports were supposed to be channeled through the FRA. You don't just open it to everyone to sell maize because you don't know what's going on.
No. I wouldn't say that. I'm against that idea.
That idea is for them they know how much they're exporting the bag.
No. I am against that one because the food security. Listen, the food security. A government cannot base on you, Mr. Perry, as an individual who have your own maize. Because now here, look at this. There are some farmers in the Copper Belt who have grown maize with the intent of exporting to Congo. You get my point?
Yes.
Get this idea. There are some farmers in the Copper Belt who did their job. Their job was to plant maize because they said, in Zambia, we don't get enough money. Those farmers in the Copper Belt, they have been exporting to Congo. By then, under the PF, that was called smuggling. Do you get my point? The farmers, when they were exporting to Congo, because Congolese people, they give us good cash, that practice in the previous regime was called smuggling.
Don't Oscar. You cannot
Yes.
pour from an empty cup. That's what I'm saying. So how do you know that the cup is empty? Someone has to fill it. Someone has to control it. So the FRA should have been in charge of the exportation, and then the, the, the government would set up a price for the maize to be exported, and then pay the farmers exactly what that amount is.
Well, that,
You know how much is there.
no, the positive aspect of the president to say, let us leave the Zambians freedom to go and sell, to make money. That one is positive. I am not against. Free market. We are talking about free market. Otherwise, Mr. Perry, you are going to say, well, it's like a communist country where the government stabilizes the prices. No, the price of minimum is this. That's dictating on a market. In a democracy, you leave the companies to make their own prices. There is the fight of, I don't know how you call it,
market equilibrium, whatever it is. But what I'm saying, Don Oscar, is how then do you expect FRA to regulate or to know the past stock if everyone else is selling haphazardly?
Because the mini meal reserve, the reserve is not in the private farms or private homes. The reserve is in the government, in FRA, the reserve.
Where does
and those people, they know.
That reserve?
Sorry?
How do you accumulate the reserves? The people sell to the government, right?
Yes. So yes.
That's why I'm saying that. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but listen.
Government will not allow people to sell with maize wherever they want to sell it without.
No. Listen, what happened? What happened was this, Mr. Perry. Listen, what happened? The government went to buy. I remember very much. Even when the people were crying about the bags because the bags were not enough so that they can pack the maize and sell it to the government, they were doing this job, okay? There was a crisis of the lack of bags. I remember very well. The bags to put in the grain, maize grain, and sell it to the government. When that job was done, and the government said, now, we have now reached the maximum. So the government has stopped buying from the private sectors, from the individuals. When the government now piled and they said, okay, 2 million bags, it's just an hypothesis, 5 million bags. Okay, now we are safe. When the government reached that expense, the people of Zambia who remained with maize from their farming hard work, they were free. That's the indication now which came from the president. He says, Zambians, make money. Now you have some bags in your home, take it, go and sell to Congo. We are not going to arrest you for smuggling. This is what is so crazy. The indication was this, Mr. Perry. We are not going to arrest you because you are selling to the Congolese. Make money. You toiled for it, go and sell, and you make money. But by allowing the Zambian people to do this, the food security was not supposed to be endangered. How have they endangered the food security? By those responsible there who are in government, who are supposed to say, Imwe, twashitisha 100, twafika pali 100, stop. Twafika pali 100, stop it. Now it seems we don't know what is the reality because the government, some of the people they are saying we have enough, they are still saying we have enough maize. But on the other side now, I'm a bit confused. Allow me to express this. I'm a bit confused. If the government says we have enough maize in stock, question, why going to import maize in South Africa? Comes an answer. No, because this was an answer, Mr. Perry. I don't want you to laugh. You don't have to laugh at it. This was an answer. No, because we are going to buy maize from South Africa, and the maize we will buy from South Africa, we are going to export it to Congo. You understand me? Why the Congolese government cannot go to buy their maize to South Africa? So not man to understand no. Now if you don't understand. Pamfwe, lindimo bapeli namkwata kwa mano. You are so intelligent more than me. With my own intelligence, I have failed to understand. So why should the Zambian government go and buy in South Africa and bring from South Africa all along through Zambia and go and sell to Congo? Why Zambia?
No, don't Oscar. There's a comment from Mutokaniki, and and he or she says exporting goods without an export permit issued by government is illegal. Hence the term smuggling. Exporters of maize were legally issued with permits. And for me the answer is simple. The answer is simple. One, establish a par stock. A par stock is this is the number of bags that the country consumes per year. Whatever is extra, you sell it. And you can also implement a safety stock. When you hit that safety stock, you stop before you reach the market.
Yes, that's it.
And that wasn't done. Everyone was excited. But what I'm saying is, okay, we have millers that are buying maize from FRA, right? So since the market was opened up in DRC, people are being paid in dollars. So why go to the FRA? So you find that maybe the FRA entered into long contracts with the millers where they have to supply the maize to the millers, and then they're expecting people to bring that maize to the FRA, and people are not. They are going to DRC to sell it there because it's more money, more money for the effort, right? So for me, I feel the FRA was the one who was supposed to export the maize to DRC. And
my dear, maybe they are the ones who have over exported. You get the point?
That's what I'm saying. They entered into long contracts. They have to fulfill them. But they were expecting people to go and sell to FRA, but people have woken up and said, why should I go and sell for a quarter of the price?
No, they did.
Paid in dollars.
Mr. Perry, the people did. The people did. Okay. I don't know here if our viewers, some of the people, they can remind us or correct us. What I understood in Kitwe, okay, I had some friends, they from Kitwe, some of the friends that come from Ndola and those now from Chingola. Now, these people were complaining to say, actually what happened was this, Mr. Perry, here comes now a mistake from the citizens now, the Zambian citizens. What they did was, FRA probably released bags of maize, enough bags of maize for the Zambian people to buy them at a cheaper price. Follow me very carefully. FRA releases the bags of maize. The Zambia National Service, they releases a lot of maize, which were supposed to be sold at 180 kwacha breakfast, if I'm not mistaken, and 165 kwacha roller meal. Okay? Now, what happened? Here is a criminal offense. People went to buy those bags, which were intended for the Zambian consumption. This one is a mistake that the Zambian individuals, they made. When the Zambia National Services or FRA, they released bags so that the Zambian people can buy the bags, because remember that there was a complaint of the too much expensive. Mealie meal reached 200 kwacha, 250 kwacha, 280 kwacha. The president said, no, we are going to reduce the price of mealie meal. And they said 180 breakfast, 165 roller meal. Now, the Zambian people, what they did,
So
was to go and buy now that mealie meal, which was meant for the Zambian people to consume. They took it in trucks and they wanted to sell it in Congo.
So there's a comment. Interesting enough, the comment is coming from my wife, right? and, and she's saying export is good for the country. Mistakes were made. What has the country learned from this?
Yeah, yeah. Very good question, madam. Thank you. That's very good. In fact, everyone now we are saying, what has the UPND learned from this? I think,
But
uh,
in all fairness, though, I'm happy that this has happened because it's a fixable problem. And
yes,
this is where we go to what Nikki said. Nikki said, now that we are here, what are the short-term solutions? How do we avoid a similar occurrence in the future?
yes,
So,
yes. I think very
number
good
one for
analysis.
me, in response to Nikki, right? Number one for me is the country, the FRA to establish a power stock and the safety stock as well. You stop selling maize when you reach that safety stock. No more exports. You shut the door, right? The other solution is ZNS. ZNS has a lot of farms.
Yes,
Employ the youth. Let them go and grow that maize. And let's grow maize all year round. We have enough water
yes,
that's not supposed to waste.
yes,
You know,
yes. I
grow
think
the maize, employ the youth.
to add upon that one, which is very good, what you have said, very good, and the questions that your madam and Nikki have mentioned, they're very good questions. What is the way forward? The way forward, I think, is this. I'm going to make a request. This is coming from my heart. Um, I am not intelligent. I'm not more intelligent than the government itself. I can confess that one. But allow me to make this request. As a short-term measure, Mickey is telling us what is the way forward. The way forward, first of all, Nikki, let the government suspend the giving of 20,000 hectares to the Kenyans who are going to come to Zambia to grow maize and sell it in Kenya. This is incredible. Imwe wantu. Nikki, imwe wantu, please help me. Help me. No. It's a bit confused. We have given 20,000 hectares of land to the Kenyan people, and the Minister of Agriculture in Kenya was bragging. He was bragging. I'm going to Zambia. I'll just give them shillings. We grow maize from Zambia and we bring the maize in Kenya. We sell here. So you Kenyans, you are not going to have problems. No.
On that one, I agree. And that's why I say, why don't we build capacity in ZNS, Zambia National Service?
Yes.
Employ the
So,
youth, grow maize
so,
on the spot.
so Mickey, my brother, short-term measures. Let the government cancel that program, that concession to the Kenyans. Let them cancel it. Let that 20 hectares of land be given to the National Service, Zambia National Service. They will employ the many youth who are not working. Let them take all the youth who are selling kachasu in Lusaka, who are drinking mutototo, who are drinking all those rubbish in the compounds. Let them take them there. The government is going to buy the machinery for the Zambia National Service and let them, the Zambia National Service, they have already been growing maize.
Yeah.
The idea of bringing the Kenyans in Zambia, I thought, and I repeat, I thought they were going to grow maize so that maize can be abundant in Zambia. I never thought they were going to be brought to Zambia to grow maize in Zambia and sell the maize that the Kenyans are going to grow in Zambia to Kenya.
I think that's a raw deal, though. I don't know what's happened. And one funny thing is that, as I said, whenever you try to mask these problems, they explode in your face. And right now, they are exploding in the face of the president. But the good thing is that this thing is fixable, right? It's not
Yes.
something that we can cry about and mourn about all day. It's fixable. One other solution is for the government to encourage the winter maize scheme.
Yes, yes.
Grow winter maize, and you know.
In fact, one of the reasons why the government said, well, we want the Kenyans to come here because those guys are commercial farmers and they can grow maize. The Minister of Agriculture in Kenya said that the Kenyans can grow maize in 4 months, Mr. Perry, in 4 months, which means they have the capability to grow maize twice in a year. Twice in a year. But what I don't understand is why allowing the Kenyans to grow maize in Zambia and export that maize that the Kenyans are going to grow in Zambia to go to Kenya. Mr. Mickey, that is not a solution. We want bulk.
Maybe they never explained how much rent that but still more. I wouldn't opt for rent though. We have to export the maize to them. Grow
We
the
have
maize
to
here.
export the maize. Yes, this is the point. We have market now. The president has said it very well. The market is open. The market is open. We have Kenyans. We have our friends in Malawi. Malawans, they want mealie meal from Zambia. We have Kenyans. We have Angola, they want mealie meal from Zambia. We have Congo, they want mealie meal from Zambia. By the way, Mr. Perry, do you know why the Congolese, they buy mealie meal, Zambian mealie meal at 500 kwacha? Do you know why they buy it? If we buy it at 180 kwacha, the Congolese, they buy it at 500 kwacha, a bag of 25 kg mealie meal. Do you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
Because Congolese, they are interested in mining, in minerals. They are not interested in growing maize.
Well, just a 10 kg here in Canada is $40.
Okay.
10 kg of mealie meal. So that's another market, right?
Yes, it's another market.
$40.
And our mealie meal is not OGM. OGM. No, sorry.
You mean GMO?
GMO, sorry.
GMOs, yes.
I said it in Italian. Sorry.
Yes. So coming to another thing though, did you notice that there's the IG has been relieved of his duties? I don't like saying firing. For lack of a better term, I just say relieved of his duties.
Yes, I saw that surprise. For me, it came as a surprise. I never thought, but we are not in the government, so certain things we might not understand. But I'll just say he is the least person I thought that he was going to be relieved from his duties this week.
On that one, we're on the same page.
This week, I was expecting, and I prayed so that Minister Mutolo can resign himself. If he was courageous enough to have a bit of honor and respect from the Zambian people, the Minister of Agriculture was supposed just to resign.
But as I said earlier on, in my short life of being in management, I've learned the hard way that masking problems is not a good thing because they explode in your face, And right now, the blame is not on the minister; the blame is on the president.
Well, you can say it, Mr. Perry, but I, as a minister as well, I would blame also the minister himself, because me as a minister, if the president suggests to me something which is dangerous for my ministry, I think I have the right to say no. Even if be fired. Do you get my point? Even at an extent. Yes.
Oscar.
Yes.
If you have children, to cancel the fancy. What are people going to say?
Wowish. Yeah.
Come on.
Yes. Okay. It can even be like that. What I'm saying is this.
That's what I'm saying because
But Mr. Perry, we don't have a dictatorship in Zambia unless you tell me that we have a
no, no, what
dictatorship.
I'm saying is this thing. He cannot just come and say I'm going to give lands to the Kenyans. He
Well,
cannot just say I'll continue exporting without addressing these issues that are there,
yeah,
right?
but he's going to pay because he's the one who is directly responsible.
That's what I'm saying. Everything has to be communicated.
You have seen what has happened to that young boy. That young boy involved in the shooting and everything. He has gone into prison. Whether he was sent by somebody bigger than whatever, huge or more important, but the young boy is in prison now. So there is also a direct responsibility. The direct responsibility falls on the Minister of Agriculture. Whether you, Mr. Perry, as a boss, you command him, listen, young man, I want you to start selling maize to Congo. Let's make money. You, Mr. Perry, you are the one who's going to be responsible. You are going to be called for accountability of that shortage. That minister, by all the Zambian people, Minister Mutolo, will be held responsible for making the Zambian people suffer of hunger for
But
lining up, like
no, no,
2023, lining up in for at
no,
Shoprite to go and buy 25 kg mealie meal for 5 hours.
don't Oscar.
2023.
Don't Oscar. These are the trickle down effect. They are not saying the Minister of Agriculture. They are saying the UPND, and
Yeah.
that's where the problem lies
Well,
because
that's what the people they do. They say the UPND,
no, no, no,
but then, listen. But then the UPND is supposed to act and to go and call the person in question. That's why maybe this can be a word maybe to the members of parliament, the MPs in the UPND government. There are responsibilities which falls direct on the member, on the MP, or the responsibilities which falls direct on the permanent secretary. Signing CDF, I give you an example on CDF. CDF, the one who signs, that one is going to be held responsible. Not because he understood, no, the boss was the minister who commanded me to say, no, do this. No, no, who signed? It's me. You signed? Yes. So that's a criminal offense. No, they commanded me. Who commanded you? But then the one who commanded you will ask you, who signed there? Ah, it's me. Yes. The law will punish you, Mr. Perry, because you signed. Not because you are working together with the Donos. No, no.
no. What I'm saying is that those the lineup that people are making, right? They're saying the UPND has failed.
Yeah, that's the mob. So the mob
And
psychology. That is part of the mob psychology. The mob psychology you just generalize.
no, that's why you're missing it, big man.
Yeah.
The thing is that you can blame Toro for this,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
people out there are blaming the party. People out there are blaming the president,
The
right?
people are
And
free. The people are free to say whatever they feel like.
that's what I'm saying. It's not a good image.
It's
It's
not
not
a
a good
good.
thing.
It's not a good image, but it has been caused by the Minister of Agriculture.
That's it. So whoever causes it has no problem.
No,
It's
I'm
a movement
against.
that's been like
No, I'm against that one, my dear. It doesn't
no,
work like that. Zambia is not a dictatorship where everything has to be commanded by the dictator.
no. What, what I'm
It's
saying
a
is
democracy. He's a
no.
Republican. Zambia is a Republican.
Don't Oscar. People are saying that the UPND has failed because of. Let me finish, big man. Let me. I know you are frustrated. People are saying the UPND has failed because of things like this. And how do you take care of things like this? The president is supposed to set a tone, make reshuffles, fire people, so people know that whatever thing whatever mistake you make, it affects the party, it affects the government, it affects the people of Zambia. So what I'm saying is the president has been masking these mistakes, and it's not right.
Well,
And
well, we the Zambian people, they complained to ECL on the same thing.
And what did he
The
do?
Zambian people were telling ECL, please, the cadres are violent. Please, they are beating up women. Please, they are making the Zambian people to suffer. People are not sleeping at night. Please, at work, the women are being dishumanized. They are being stripped off of their clothes. These things were being taught to the former president, and he did not act. Okay? President Hakainde Chilema, the people have started telling him, I want to recall what has happened since he took power. Do you remember when we went to load shedding? The Zambian people started complaining, and they told him, Mr. President, I remember very well. Most of the people, they said, Mr. President, then you are a liar. You have lied to us that there was not going to be load shedding. Do you remember these things? What did President Hakainde Hichilema do on that question? He stopped load shedding. This is the difference. Listen. This is the difference. This is the difference.
The issue of load shedding for me, that question I'll answer it in October. If there's no load shedding in October, then the problem has been solved.
Yeah, for me it has been solved. For me it has been solved. For me, and what is listen. What is important is here to say, this president. What is the difference between ECL and President Hakainde Hichilema? In 1 year, 6 months of his governance, he is listening to the plight of the people. When the people are crying, he is listening. Just yesterday, he met a group of people to say, let us analyze this crisis of millennium. That is a point of saying you are listening to the people's cry. The people are crying, and you listen. And there have been now changes. We don't know. He has not told the Zambian people why he has changed some of these people, permanent secretaries, the IG, police IG, and other new permanent secretaries. He has changed. He has not told us the reason. I would allow myself to just make an hypothesis. Is it because maybe they did not do their homework very well? Maybe. What homework? We have not told yet. I'm waiting. Maybe one day, maybe they are going to tell us. We don't know. We don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How long is this learning curve?
How long?
How long is this learning curve for the UPND government?
For me, the way I see, I hope the Zambian people can excuse me on this one. I've always been categorical here. How long can I give the UPND for their first term? I said I start from the genesis. What was Zambia before UPND? Zambia was a disaster, was in a very difficult situation. Very difficult situation. Now, how long can it take for somebody to clean up the difficult situation which was there? I give 3-year term. I've always, since they started in power, I've always repeated this one. For me, I give them 3 years. And fortunate enough, the president started saying, maybe this year we want to unblock everything. Somebody is going to be who's going to be stopping now the implementation of the government policies. We are going to remove you. He started saying this at the beginning, if you remember, the president. But I know that also we are still there, and it's quite difficult. So I will give the UPND 3 years. 3 years. If in 3 years they do not stabilize the thing, then it's going to be already late for them. The 3rd year is key for this UPND government. They are 3rd year in term. These mistakes are healthy for them. I hope they can correct them so that next year, fertilizer, enough water, the cleaning up of the water system in the whole most of the countries. They are doing something good in building some new schools and that. Then we are waiting now for them to build some. We are waiting for them to build some houses for the teachers, their homes for the civil servant, the teachers, and the nurses.
Let's accommodate Nikki. Nikki, how are you? Could you please unmute yourself? Hello?
Somewhere there, Nick, I think your volume is muted. Somewhere, look an angle where there is a volume muted. Mickey is going to join us as he is now sorting out that problem, the volume problem. So we were saying 3 years. I was going to give the UPND 3 years. After 3 years, everything is going to be very late. It will be very late. It will be too late for the UPND. After the 4th year will be regarded as campaign system. The 4th year. If they do not deliver in the 3rd year, the situation is going to be very difficult.
Hello, Nikki. Is it okay now? Why don't you log back out and then try to trying to come back? We'll wait for you. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the 3rd year is key for them. Why do I give the UPND 3 years? Because of the situation they found in the country. There's the UPND and the MMD, and all the other political parties, including the PF. The PF have accepted that we left the cadres too much free. They have caused our failure. They have caused us to lose. And this was Mwamba. Mwamba confirmed on Prime TV. Mwamba on FM. Mwamba said the Zambian people fished us out of power because we allowed cadreism, violence, and corruption. 3 things Mwamba mentioned. We allowed cadreism, corruption, and what is that? Cadreism, corruption, and violence. I don't know what this is. And violence. So the PF have also acknowledged that. Now, if the situation was a miserable situation, it is not possible, Mr. Perry, to control the things in 2 months, in 5 months. Remember, you gentlemen, remember what has happened. Remember what has happened. How many pensioners? Do you remember the pensioners who are crying?
What I'm saying is, you don't clean up a mess by creating another mess. That's what I'm saying.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
I know it's not easy, but what I'm saying is that some people need to be held accountable.
Yes, that one I think we are. Yeah, that's right. Now, when I said
earlier on, this is a small issue that can be it can be resolved easily.
Yeah, but when I say the minister should be held accountable, you are saying no, that's not the minister, because it was commanded from some.
What I'm saying is that their inefficiencies, their mistakes, they are painting the president black. He's black already, so they are painting him more black. That's what I'm saying.
No. We hope. Myself, I hope. The Zambian people, they never expected Kajova to be relinquished from his responsibility. The people of Zambia, they thought everyone was expecting Minister Mutolo to be fired. I am not against the person, Mutolo, as a person. Honorable Minister, please get it from me. I am not against you as a person. I respect you very much. But that mistake is a very serious mistake. If it is going to be left like that, the UPND is going to pay a very high, very, very, very huge price.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reality.
Well, for me, as I said, the management style, I think, has to be changed as well, because you have to set this tone at the top, right? You can't just let people continue making mistakes and you're masking them, because those mistakes are going to explode in your face,
Yes.
and that's what's going to happen.
Just as we are talking about the mealie meal and the farming things, but
Mudenda Mugala says there's no shortages but uncontrolled smuggling.
Mudenda, I can answer to Mudenda. Maybe I don't know whether she was following us, but I can answer to. It's called Samson. Samson is a man.
Yes, yes,
Is a gentleman.
yes, yes, he
Okay,
is.
now I can I can answer to Mudenda that Mudenda, at the beginning we have discussed with me with Perry. We have discussed that why have the words changed from exportation, calling the Zambians to take advantage of the market in Congo and to export mealie meal. And now, why now? Those people, if they want to go and export, we are calling them smugglers now. What has changed? I have stated out here that I think the mistake has been from the government part. When the mealie meal, the
Well,
danger was there, the government was going to stop the government exportation, not the individual. Gentlemen, not the individual, but the
don't,
government
don't,
exportation.
don't Oscar. Nikki said exporting goods without that export permit issued by government is illegal, hence the term smuggling. So exporters of maize were legally issued with permits.
Even
So
if
what is
now,
saying is that
now,
the
now,
people that are exporting the maize without
yeah,
permits.
but Mr. Nicky,
I wish you could come back and then defend his comment there.
yes, exactly. But Mr. Nicky, I understand what you are saying, but what we have now understood, what we have understood by all these things that they are proposing, Mr. Mickey, the question of proposing the Zambian people to go and buy mealie meal from South Africa, and the opposition party was saying, we don't know even that mealie meal if it's GMO. Now, if that mealie meal is going to be GMO, this is going to be a scandal.
Okay,
Terrible scandal.
Nikki is back. Hello, Nikki.
Hi, Perry. How are you? Long
Yes,
time.
yes. Long time it's been. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. Don Oscar, how are you?
Thank you very much, Nikki. Thank you very much. Welcome, welcome. Good evening.
Thank you so much.
So, what are your reactions to this?
Um, you need to bring me to speed, but I've been following your conversation around the millennial issue. Quite an interesting and hot topic at the moment in Zambia. But I know Don Oscar has tried to elaborate and given a genesis of this whole crisis. But the issue might be bigger than I can see.
Could you speak a little bit louder? You are too faint. I can hardly hear you.
Okay, one moment. Okay, am I
Yeah,
audible?
that's
Yeah.
good now.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was saying the issue might be bigger than the eye can see, because this matter is to an extent historical, and maize has always been a political commodity. So we cannot run away from that, both locally and internationally, particularly in the region, because maize is our staple food. So I know Don Oscar tried to give some background to the whole issue, but what I can say right now is that in the past, or let me just say, smuggling has always been there. I remember even when we were growing up, smuggling has been there for one simple reason. when you look at the Congo is like a grinding mill. They are always eating just like we do, but the consumption in Congo, the demand can never be met, not by themselves, not by ourselves. If you check Congo, what we export to Congo in terms of the commodity is minute. Majority of their maize comes from countries like Brazil and to an extent from South Africa. So when you look at the current regime, what they're trying to do is, why should we allow Brazilian to export maize to Congo when we are just next door? The previous regime, yes, they would sell maize to Congo and the neighboring countries, but only a few people were doing that. So what this government has done, or what this government did, was to open up trade. For as long as you're a Zambian, you should be able to have access to that maize and be able to trade in Congo legally. Remember, legally.
Yes.
Yeah, no, just on that, Nick, what's the instance of the Zambian government giving land to Kenyans so they can grow maize when we have a market that's readily available? So why don't we take advantage of that and grow maize? And that's what I said earlier on. We can use ZNS, build capacity in ZNS, employ the youths that are unemployed, grow maize on a larger scale, and try to at least get half the market share. So that's my concern.
Yeah. So I, for one, I have my own reservations on that thought in terms of allowing foreigners to come and grow maize on our land, and then they in turn export to their respective countries. I think I have my own reservations, and at the moment, I would not be quick to comment on that issue because I'm yet to read more and probably ask around and understand what is the rationale and what model are they going to use. Because if the government, or if Zambia is not going to benefit any tangible revenue, then it's not a good idea. But if it will give us a substantial revenue as a country, I wouldn't have a problem with that. However, the key thing is to empower Zambians. To empower Zambians, because right now, you may be interested to know that in the region, we are the only country that is, we are the only country, if not the second country, that grows white maize, which is non-GMO. The rest of the countries, what they grow is GMO maize.
Yeah.
And that's why our maize is on demand. And secondly, you may be interested to know that East Africa, the past 3 seasons, has experienced droughts. So Kenya has never bought maize from Zambia, but this time around, they are buying maize from Zambia. So that has pushed pressure, that has put pressure on Zambia, even when we are not talking about Congo, just Kenya itself and the countries in the Eastern Bloc, they've had droughts. So in terms of the maize, I mean, in terms of, the maize that they have right now, they are failing to meet their local demands. Hence, them now looking at which is the nearest country where we can get maize. So the nearest country where there is maize is Zambia. So we've had traders coming from Kenya, from Burundi, Rwanda, somewhere there, coming into Zambia to buy maize. On top of that, we have Congo, which has been a perpetual customer to Zambia in terms of commodities like maize and the other stuff. Now, for Zambians, for me, we need to start thinking twice. What does this teach us? Like one follower said, what can we learn from this? One, Zambia is opening up to business. Secondly, opportunities are presenting themselves. This is a time when Zambians need to wake up and begin to see opportunities that are existing around the region, because remember, climate change is here to stay. So we don't know. Even this coming season, the Eastern Bloc may have droughts. Where are they going to get the maize? We are fortunate enough, and God has been merciful to us as a country. We've been receiving substantial rainfall that has allowed us to grow maize. So it's time for us now to push government to empower a lot of Zambians to grow maize that is going to be supplied to the Eastern Bloc and Congo. And when it comes to the young people, in my view, this is where the CDF, when you talk about the CDF, this is where government can now begin to do targeted kind of empowerment around the CDF, not just any other project, but you say all those who are going to go into the growing of maize, government is going to fund them. You give them land so that they grow maize extensively, and that maize will be bought by the government for export purposes.
And thank you for raising that point, Nick. And that's what I told Don Oscar. I said this habit of just opening up the market, like every Jim and Jake will export maize to Congo. You deplete your reserve, because the FRA depends on the maize from the local farmers, right?
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I would say, okay, just to enhance the production of the growing of maize, right? The FRA says, okay, from April up until December, whatever maize you bring, we'll be buying it at so much, because there's a cost of transporting the maize from one place to the other, right? So if they offer this a price that will avoid people taking the maize to DRC, FRA would have enough stocks, and then establish a par stock and a safety stock as well. So they have to come back and say, look, these X number of bags are what we need to feed the entire country for the whole year. It has to be 2 years, actually, because you have to wait up until the next season for the maize.
Yeah.
So establish that, and then whatever is extra, sell it. But you're looking at a situation where FRA is busy selling their stock because they've entered into long contracts with Mealie, and no one is taking maize to FRA to sell it because they're selling at a higher price in the DRC. So you find this gap that they are unable to bridge. So for me, I think the exportation of maize, it doesn't have to be every Jim and Jack. No, it has to be through FRA, and FRA has to establish a price that is appealing, rather, for lack of a better term. So that's how they can fix it. But if you're going to say each Jim and Jack have to go to DRC and or Kenya and sell their maize, there will be no stock to feed the country. The price of living will continue going up. That's how I look at it.
There is also, there is also another challenge. If an individual takes mealie meal in Congo using his own means of transport, and he goes and sells his 25 kg bag of mealie meal at 500 kwacha. Actually, some people would go up to something like 800 kwacha they're buying from Congo. If that is true, you understand why a private farmer, an individual who has stocked at home his 200 kg of grain, maize grain. He would like to go and grind the maize and take that back so that he can recover something like 700 kwacha. Don't you think it's wise? It's intelligent for an individual. And the Zambian people are, what I'm trying to say is this: in Italy here, the government, get me correct, the government pays the farmers so that the farmers can grow pasta, which pasta is exported to Zambia. Who grows that pasta? The poor farmers. Now the farmers, they receive, this is very strange, they receive money for boosting their cultivation of that pasta. If you choose to grow pasta, the government gives you incentives. They give you diesel to use for your tractors, free from the government. The government gives you diesel, so that the production for the Italians and the export of pasta is bulk. They feed the Italians and they export it to neighboring countries. They export pasta to many countries: Africa, Europe, China. The Italians are very good in those things there. Even oil, olive oil. Olive oil is very expensive. They get it from here. These guys. So now that's what the government is going to give incentives to a farmer so that the farmer can be happy. You are selling, you are making some profit. The way I have a friend of mine from Luansha. The place is called, what is this place? In Luansha, it's a farming area. He says the expenses, Mpongwe area, my dear. Mpongwe. He said, if I buy fertilizer, if I pay my workers, and I harvest that meal and I go and sell it at FRA, I lose money. You get my point, Perry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he uses fertilizer, the cost of fertilizer, the cost of manpower, and then selling to FRA bag of 50 kg grain, maize grain, I don't know how much they sell it. You gentlemen, I don't know whether you have those prices. Maybe they are going to sell it at 40 kwacha. I don't know. 50 kwacha. The private farmer is losing. He's losing. Here in Europe, I repeat, the government gives incentives to the farmer so that the farmer is happy. When you are growing maize, you know that the government is going to give you. If you akabunga 25 kg, Mr. Perry, is 180 kwacha, the government can give a farmer something like 150 kwacha. You boost morale. He's happy. He's getting some money. The government cannot go and get from a farmer akabunga 50 kg grain of maize at, I don't know whether it's 50 kwacha. And then the government is going to sell now that bag at 180. You get the point. The farmer is losing there. The government is going, especially now if the government is going to export now to Congo. It's the government is going to gain. What is the private farmer, the one who has sold to FRA, what is he going to gain in the bag of minimum which is going to be sold in Congo at 500 kwacha? When he sold his bag of 50 kg grain to FRA, he sold it at 40 kwacha or 50 kwacha. What is the gain of an individual? So I think the New Dawn government have also to reflect on these things to boost the morale from the farmers so that they don't go on bicycles to go and sell that bag to Congo straightforward, because it's going to gain some money. So that's what I think. Also, it can be a thought of think of a thought for the government to think about these things. Tomorrow, the Zambian people are not going to go with bicycles to go and sell that bag in Congo. If taking that bag and selling their grain, their mealie, not mealie meal, their maize to the government, they are going to be paid enough money. Otherwise, even me, if I was growing, I'm going to take my maize to Congo. They are paying me 500 bucks for maize. Mr. Perry, excuse me. Am I crazy?
Go ahead, Mickey.
Quite some thought-provoking sentiments from Don Oscar there. In the first place, we need to understand what is the role of the Food Reserve Agency.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Food Reserve Agency is a strategic institution created by the Act of Parliament that looks into the food security, the national food security. So when the government is, or when farmers are growing maize, remember there's government subsidizes the growing of some of these crops. That's why we have the issue of the FISP.
Mm-hmm.
That is a form of subsidy given to farmers. So when farmers have harvested their maize, it's the Food Reserve Agency through the Ministry of Agriculture, if I'm not mistaken, who goes on the ground to check the quality of the commodity that has been produced by the farmers, to make sure the moisture content is up to standard, the pests are controlled, and all such kind of things. Once they are satisfied that this maize has met the standard, then they buy that maize and stored in the strategic reserves, the national strategic reserves, to make sure the country is food secure. However, when that is done, when they've bought the maize, remember they'll open up this is April. So anytime soon, I can't remember which month, but anytime soon, they'll be opening up the market to start buying the maize that has been produced in the farming season of 2022-2023. Now, the Food Reserve Agency will not buy everything from every farmer. They will buy up to a certain level of the commodity. Once they've met their target, that's it. Now, whatever the individual farmers remain with, they are at liberty to sell to whoever they want.
No,
as we are talking,
just on that, Nikki, don't you think that that policy is supposed to be revised? Because the reason I say so is that most of these farmers, when they take their maize to DRC, and some of them end up getting robbed, others end up getting killed, right? So if FRA can revise that, buy the maize, whatever they produce, buy it, and then sell at least buy it at a very good price, nobody will want to spend time to go to DRC. Because for me, I think the mandate of the FRA is to make sure that we have food security.
Yeah.
But then how are you going to have that food security when you're opening the door for them to go sell somewhere else? Because everyone they want to make more money. Everyone else will shun, take it.
That's the essence of free market. That's the essence of free market, is to make more money.
Exactly.
And President Hakainde Hichilema was so categorical in this. He says, Zambians, take advantage. Yeah. The market is open in Congo. So make money, make your dollars. I remember these words very well. What is Yes, yes, please.
On Oscar, you are right. You are right on that. That's why I was trying to sort of give a background in terms of how the Food Reserve Agency, the role the Food Reserve Agency plays when it comes to food security. They make sure they've bought the maize from the local farmers, making sure that we are food secure. Then the local farmers, whatever excess they remain with, they're at liberty to sell to whoever. However, they cannot sell without getting the export permit from the government. Because at that point, the government is now regulating what exits the country.
Okay.
I hope you are following. The
Yeah, I get it.
the government is controlling what exits the country. In as much as, yes, FRA has bought the maize from the local farmers, whichever local farmer or private individual wants now to sell the excess that they have, they would need to get the export permit from the government. Now, when we talk about the liberalized economy, Zambians at this point, the way this government opened up the market, it gives them a chance to make a little bit more than they would have made if they sold their maize locally. Then when it comes to the Food Reserve Agency, when you talk about selling maize, it's not an easy task. If we say, let's sell 100,000 metric tons, it's a mammoth task. That's why FRA, in trying to create employment for those who've got capacity, they'll open up the market for people to participate in buying maize from FRA, and they also in turn sell to whoever they would want to. However, government still is involved in that trade because they're the ones who are going to issue the export permits. And government is making money out of that through taxes by those who are exporting the maize. Food Reserve Agency will set a price and they'll get the money almost instantly because you cannot, FRA will not release the maize without it being paid for. So in essence, all we can say is this government, what they've done, yes, they've opened up the market, which is good. Every individual who's got the capacity is free to participate. That's very good. And it creates competition.
Yeah.
That's what we need if we are going to develop as a country. However, the situation we are in, it shows us that we are not producing enough. That's my view. We are not producing enough to meet the demand of within the region and also in other jurisdictions like the Eastern Bloc. So what we need to be looking at is, let's push government to empower many of us Zambians, even the young people who are unemployed, to get into this sector, produce more so that the country can have more forex coming through the trade of maize, and that will also push many other players to go into milling. Because if you check, majority of the millers are owned by non-Zambians. They are not indigenous Zambians.
Exactly. That's it.
More opportunities for Zambians to open up milling companies so that we also start competing and be able to export the milling meal to Congo. Trust me, Congo, we cannot satisfy the market in Congo. We are complaining because we are not producing enough. So for me, this is a wake-up call.
It is. What you're saying, Mr. Mickey, is absolutely correct. It's absolutely correct. We are just trying to underline some of the mistakes that has happened And for sure, each and every one, we don't want this government to fall, because if this government fell, it's us, the poor people, the ordinary people, our people in homelands, in Kumishikuli, Apura, Chisamba, I don't know, Luan, Shakuisoko. They are the ones who are going to pay the high price. That's why we don't want this government to fail. Now, our contribution, just like me and Mr. Perry and you now, Mr. Nikki, are on board. Our contribution is to say, I'm quite. I like being factual. We have underlined some of the mistakes that what has happened with this government, and unfortunately, the Zambian people might also request for somebody to pay for the negligence. I'm calling it negligence myself. There have been some negligence here. Now, if nobody is going to pay, and if the mistake is not ratified in time, soon or later, the Zambian people is going to make someone pay for it. Soon or later, they will make someone pay.
Don't ask, and this is what I was saying. You know, a lot of people are busy blaming the Minister of Agriculture. How do we know that it was the tone from the top?
But he signed. He signed.
That's what I'm doing.
When I see you send you on the background, say, okay, listen, let's do this. If you sign, Perry, in the courts of law, you are going yourself, not me.
For me, though, Nikki, thank you for your contribution. For me, though, what I feel is that we have enough capacity at the ZNS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have a lot of labor. There's a lot of people that will jump at going to work for ZNS. You know, let's build capacity in ZNS. Let them grow enough maize. We have look at how many water bodies we have in Zambia. Through irrigation, we can feed the DRC in its entirety.
The region, we can feed the region actually.
Exactly. Let's jump on it, and here's the thing though. As Naoki was saying, grow these early maturing varieties. You're looking at approximately 90 days you've harvested the maize. Some of them, I think, 75 days, somewhere there.
No, we want good quality. We don't want.
It doesn't matter. It can be an early maturing variety, but the quality is still good. You know, what I'm saying is, let's build capacity in ZNS, employ more people to work there, and plus, you know that the money is coming through the export of maize.
Yeah. Also for me, I'm with you, Mr. Perry, on that one. I'm with you, and unfortunately, to the UPND government, I think they are a bit against. Absolutely against bringing the Kenyans in Zambia to grow maize and export to Kenya.
No, that's a
if the government is going to change, if they are going to explain maybe to the Zambian people, probably the government haven't made the Zambian people understand. I, a simple citizen, what I've understood is this, and I got it from a clip from the Minister of Agriculture in Kenya. He was bragging, gentlemen. He was bragging. I'm going to give them shillings. The Zambian people, I'm just giving these shillings so that I bring the meal. I sell here to Kenyans, and you are not going to have problems of meal. 4 months. Give me 4 months. I'm bringing the meal here. The Zambian people have given me land. This is the Minister of Agriculture in Kenya. Well, that one offended me. I felt offended. It's not only we have made a mistake historically, gentlemen, to bringing those guys with billions and billions and buy the mines because they had cash. We have sold them our mines. This is history. This is history, and that is the reality. Not Akainde. It's not Akainde sold to these mines. These mines we are coming back to maybe Chiruba, maybe. Kaunda maybe didn't want to sell all those things. With Chiruba, your president, you, Mr. Perry. Chiruba, your president.
Don't worry about me. I'm MMD. But I like our president.
Yeah, but what you remember is that number. They did this guy, these people with money, they have done the same thing everywhere. Even here in Italy, they have done it. The Italians, though they are very clever, when they said do the privatization and they come with cash and they buy those big mines and big companies, the Italians, they have put a condition. The money you are going to make in that company, you are supposed to spend it in Italy. Do you get my point? The Italians
Okay,
are
so
very clever.
yeah, I think we've gone over our time limit. Nikki, in closing, what have you got for us?
Yeah, for me, I know it's unfortunate that as a country we found ourselves in the position we are in. However, not all hope is lost. We still have a chance to salvage something out of this situation, and lessons learned. I believe even the decision makers or our leaders have learned something out of this situation. I'm a firm believer that Food Reserve Agency has competent staff who are managing our food security, and I know all fingers are pointing at the Minister of Agriculture, but I believe we have people who are competent, who are technocrats, because the minister he makes decisions based on the advice given by the technocrats, and I don't think the minister can overrule what the technocrats have told him.
Including the leasing of land, or
well, I'll still reserve my comments on that one until I've gotten the actual facts. At the moment,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
at the moment, I still take it as a rumor at the moment. So what I wanted to say is the minister is being advised by competent technocrats in that ministry, even at Food Reserve Agency, and I believe he cannot overrule the word or advice from the technocrats. However, we are not going to run away from the demand from Congo. Congo will always be on our doors knocking. Congo will always be on our doors knocking. Even if we were to stop, we say, let's close the borders today, they will still find a way of getting that maize or getting that mealie meal. Remember, smuggling has not started today. Smuggling has been there from time immemorial. What we Zambians need to start thinking is, how can we grow our food production and begin to flood the Congo and the Eastern Bloc, which is experiencing consistent droughts. I think for me, that's what we should be discussing as Zambians, and we should demand that government empowers many Zambians with land and young people to push them into the growing of these commodities such as maize, not just maize, but even sorghum, millet, cassava, all those are substitutes to maize. And that will help us as a country to be food secure and also to flood the region with our commodities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Don Oscar?
Thank you very much. Quite a very positive and interesting conversation this evening. We might have an opportunity for our country, I think, to do better than in the past. But I think what is urgent at the moment for the government, I would say, let's look at the possibility of empowering the many youth who have not, who are languishing in the towns in Cape Copperbelt. Though I think the government, they are doing their best. They're doing their best. They've tried Tazara, they've done something, Ministry of Health, they have done something at Ministry of Education. But there are many youth there, especially that we have this possibility now of selling maize, more maize and more maize. I think it is an opportunity for the government to employ as many, all those youth who are just languishing in towns. We are going to decongest Lusaka for people who are not doing anything. We take them to go and do something positive and grow a lot of maize. Zambia will be okay. Then another thing is it's out of the topic this evening, but another thing is I hope the government can really do a lot of censoring and the mining in the mining sector. Zambia, we have resources, we have no excuse. God will punish us if we are not going to use the minerals, the many minerals that we have. So we have underground many minerals, on top fertile soil. Gentlemen, we don't deserve to suffer. We don't. I think it's a sin. It's a sin. So this is my appealing. It's also to the government. Let us, President Hakainde Hichilema, do the censoring things. We want to know the minerals. Takwa abafya amasenero nse bashitisha diamonds kwa kupitwe. Takwa up to today. Mwewa. Na ile mpeni kwa gold mine mwampera kona yene na mkaya na yemera mine. Mwampera. Ama Zambia likaidi. Wakusomalia bashitisha, bainje bashitisha, babonzi.
Don Oscar, have you applied for the mining license? Because I remember the president appealed that you apply for mining licenses.
Gentlemen, allow me to close the show to speak in the background. Well, in closing, what I'll say is maybe we can benchmark from Yanawasa's winter maize scheme and then try to improve on what they did wrong. But what I can just advocate for is let's build capacity in ZNS. Let's employ more youth to send them wherever there's water bodies. Go into irrigation and grow this maize and ship it. Make them dollars, and I think it's a win-win. This is a very good problem that we are having, and I'm not losing sleep over it because I know it's a short-term problem which will be resolved quickly. But maybe we need to also look at the policies and procedures for the FRA and how they let's say the modus operandi of them, the FRA, and try to make sure that we update some of these. Because as time is going by, right, some of these policies become obsolete, and I don't think many of them have been changed. Because people always find ways of trying to evade certain securities that we put in place, right? So I think some of them have become obsolete. Let's try to also build capacity in our police and the immigration as well. This is an opportunity for the country to make money, so why not do it? So in closing, I would say thank you for joining us and have a good night. Up until next time, it's bye.